Bauman.
Here.
Gorman.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Hermany.
Here.
Kaiser.
Here.
Maple.
Here.
Stankowski.
Here.
Calandra Zebro.
Here.
Kelly Zebro.
Here.
All present.
Okay, item 3, Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, approval of the agenda. I would seek a motion to approve the agenda as posted.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion by Kelly, is there a second? A second by Amy. Any questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, approval of the minutes. 5A, of regular Board of Education meeting, May 16, 2023.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from May 16th.
Yes, I'll second. Thank you. We have a motion by Kelly and a second by Donna. Any questions or changes? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion will carry. And then 5B, the special Board of Education meeting, June 1st, 2023. Let's see the motion.
I'll make the motion to approve minutes from June 1st.
Okay. We have a motion by Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Amy. Any questions, changes? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Item 6, public forum. The public forum provides the public with the opportunity to ask questions about or address issues included on the school board meeting agenda. General operating rules of the public forum will be determined by the board president once the number of people wishing to participate is identified. And I believe you said there was none. Okay. Moving on to item 7, the consent agenda. I would seek a motion to approve the consent agenda. If nothing needs to be pulled from any. Okay. We have a motion by Donna. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And a second by Kelly. Any questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Item 8, discussion and possible decision on the approval of the monthly vouchers list.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Peter, is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Megan. Roll call, please.
Hanson.
Yes.
Hermany.
Yes.
Kaiser.
Yes.
Maple.
Yes.
Stankowski.
Yes.
Calandra Zebro.
Yes.
Kelly Zebro.
Yes.
Bauman.
Yes.
Gorman.
Yes.
All yes.
Item 9, discussion and possible decision on the acceptance of the monthly treasurer's report. I would need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Amy, is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Megan. Roll call, please.
Bauman.
Yes.
Gorman.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Hermany.
Yes.
Kaiser.
Yes.
Maple.
Yes.
Stankowski.
Yes.
Calandra Zebro.
Yes.
Kelly Zebro.
Yes.
All yes.
Motion will pass. Item 10, new business. Item 10A, discussion and possible decision on the acceptance of the donation from the Mosinee Legion for baseball scoreboard.
Yes, there's been a substantial amount of private money raised, and we do have a community member here that would like to present the checks, which, or it's my understanding, over $25,000. $25,900 raised, so Mrs. Gorman, if you'd like to, Tom's gonna give a picture there. Thank you very much to the Mosinee Legion for all the private donations.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
I got you. Thank you.
So the donations will be used, obviously, directly for the baseball field scoreboard. So thank you very much. We'll follow per board policy, all the different pieces, about $2,500, but it's an amazing amount of money raised, and I know that there's already a lot of work been done to kind of get that rolling, so that's
So
awesome.
which scoreboard?
Base-
Which field?
Baseball.
I do have a picture of it if you want to see.
Oh, the one over by the rec
Yeah,
center?
yes,
Oh, okay.
one closest to the elementary school.
Do you have a picture?
Yeah, it has a little of my child's writing on it.
You're good.
I don't know. And he's got this all stupid.
That's what I don't know.
Oh, nice. Some writing.
How long before that will be up?
He's hoping to have it,
That
I
is
mean,
really
by
nice.
reunion tournaments.
Yeah, we're talking,
Is this,
No,
does this
okay,
change
so the
then?
next agenda, I was like,
It can change, but
Okay.
they're, because of what they paid, they have
I need to make a motion to
Oh,
accept that
that's-
for baseball.
some of the big.
I'll make a motion to,
It's all just, I think, right?
yes, I have.
Thank you.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we need
Oh,
to
it
do
is.
a motion.
Yes, we do.
I'll accept,
Make a motion.
I'll accept the donation for the baseball.
Okay, so we have a motion by Peter, is there a second? And a second by Amy, any questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Again, thank you very much.
Yes.
They're already moving, there's a lot of things in motion already, so that's gonna be happening quickly.
He doesn't do much of who, but he gets a lot done with that baseball.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Item 10B, discussion and possible decision, acceptance of donation from Bartic Printing Company.
Yep, that is correct. And per board policy, it's over $2,500 and $4,000. The value of a donation of paper, the high school graphic arts, we are recommending accepting that donation.
Okay. I would seek a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Okay, we have a motion by Kelly, is there a second? And a second by Calandra. Any questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Fantastic. Item 10C, discussion and possible decision approval of the WIAA 2023-24 membership renewal.
Yeah, this came up last year, this is an annual renewal, and there is no cost for the renewal per se, but all of the fees that are charged for state tournaments are used to fund the WIA. There has been some motions recently, I was told today even, to try to bring fees back into this, but that's not happened as of yet. The question is, wait a minute, they took fees out and we're paying all this money for state tournaments. Why would there be motions to do that? Because there's been some complaints that have come up about some of the state tournaments and about how they could be better and that kind of thing. So, but right now, there's zero cost for this. We are recommending approval.
I would seek a motion to approve.
I'll make,
Okay, we have a motion by Donna, is there a second?
I'll second it.
And a second by Kelly. Any questions?
Do we know where we're at with, someone had come up and spoke about, a male swim team. We've got a couple of great swimmers from Mosinee who don't swim for Mosinee because we don't have the team. She came out, Peter, you knew her.
Mrs. Ogiba.
Yes.
Yep, yep.
Where we are with that.
I don't know,
No.
but I can get that information.
Those
Yeah.
kids would be middle school students.
We could get the
She would
information.
That are swimming with Wentz books, they're always in the
Well, I mean,
Mosinee
her
Times.
boys are in middle school.
Are they?
The
We
oldest
could
one is
get a
gonna be
report.
17.
Yeah,
future-
just where we
Future
are.
agenda items.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's.
Bring it
that's
back
a
to the
question.
live meeting, certainly. Certainly.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Item 10C, discussion and possible decision on the approval of the food service contract.
I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on this. There's a lot written about this, and I wanna be abundantly clear about how this process works, and I won't read it word for word. I've given write-ups to the board kind of leading up to this possibility in my weekly communications with the board. But essentially where we're at is, we've had a good experience with Tahoe Food Service. We've had a very good experience with them. That being said, we've always known there was an RFP process that we were gonna have to go into because we initiated an emergency start to this. You'll remember when you approved this last year, the board members that were present. So we had to go into an RFP, which we did. There were two companies that vied for services, Tahoe and Chartwells. And what happens is, they put in bids, and they go through this process of numbers. And the long and short of it is that there's a scoring system. that the DPI oversees. And the way the scoring system worked out, Chartwell's, clearly won the RFP. So there isn't a discretion really on the boards. We can't choose Taher. And Taher knows that, and everybody knows that. So the choice for the board is Chartwell's, and we do have representatives from Chartwell's present. Timothy Leary, Senior Sales Director, in the back on the right over here. And Janelle Schultz, the District Manager of the Midwest Region, is also here from Chartwell's. So the decision for the board is to go with Chartwell's, who's a large organization, actually larger than Taher's in terms of doing this. So they're very successful in food service, or to do it on our own. So financially, the recommendation from Michelle and I is to stay with, contracting out some food service because it's the right financial move for the district. And we believe that they can provide the same service that Taher provided, at least from our research.
Alright, so with that,
We don't have a
This one,
president.
then I'll make a motion to.
okay. We have a motion by Peters, or second,
I'll second.
and a second by Amy. Questions?
Yeah, how is that?
Chartwell's would be available for questions if you have them as well. Go ahead.
How is that going to impact the employees now? Because last year
Right.
they
Oh,
were
yeah.
paid, and
Right.
now how is that
Right.
going to impact?
Yeah, I just had a brief discussion with both of the representatives from Chartwell's here, but it's my understanding they'll be taking all of our employees, and they have a meeting set for Monday, I believe, with all of our employees to fully pull them over to Chartwell's. The only exception to that, and we had a brief discussion with it, but I'm gonna follow up with an email tonight. The only exception to that comment is the food service director, is because, and it's nothing to do with Chartwell's actually, it has to do with Taher and a non-compete clause in her existing contract that, and so that's nothing to do with Chartwell's. I mean, they're open to whatever, but that is something on Taher's end. So I've talked to Taher as recently as this morning about that non-compete clause. I've talked to Mrs. Jenny John, who is the current Taher food service director. Had a brief conversation with Chartwell's, but I'll follow up with them tonight about that one employee. But it seems like they have a seamless transition, and they have done these things many times before. Like I said, they're a substantially larger company than Taher. When I was looking at balance sheets and the amount of school districts that they serve, it's actually not even close. So that's part of why they probably came in with the RFP. But they're available for questions if you have them as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a couple.
Yes.
Did the other organization submit an RFP as well?
Yes.
And so if you wouldn't mind just scrolling down a little bit on the alternatives. So one alternative, the only alternative listed is that we could bring it back in-house,
That is correct.
right? So what is the rationale that prohibits the district from considering staying with the company that we contracted with last year?
The DPI.
It's not a state law. It's not a law, right?
Yeah, and Michelle might be able to help me with this. I pushed on this pretty hard because of our good relationship with Taher, but the DPI was pretty clear with me that I don't have discretion, and neither does the board with that choice. Michelle, can you clarify?
Yeah, so when we prior to putting out the RFP, we have to follow a DPI process, a template. And we award, or we put together the matrix on how many points each company the maximum you could get in each area. There were several areas, they needed a total of 100. Cost of the proposal, it's actually a Schedule E, to be detailed, has to be the highest rate. So when we're reviewing these, we score them accordingly, the menus, the cost proposal, all those different areas, on-site food service director, variety, how much they're gonna involve staff and students, rebates and commodities, not rebates and commodities, but rebates and discounts, those types of things. So in those scores that were tallied up, the RFPs, and then all of the required schedules sent along with the tally sheet to the DPI, Tarver had 77 points and Chartwell's had in the 90s, I don't remember the exact number. The big factor, they're both great companies, good references, I called their references, both had good references. But the big thing was that Tarver was showing that we were gonna have a loss. So there were no points awarded to Tarver for the cost.
And the
So-
difference was over $100,000.
Yes, yes.
So the point system, that's a DPI, like your
USDA, too,
USDA bureaucracy thing. But the difference in the RFPs was about a little over $100,000. So that didn't even make it close with, when it comes to the actual dollars and cents of it. Chartwell's is projecting, being in the black slightly, whereas Chartwell's, or Taher was over negative 6 figures.
So, yeah. So last year, Taher projected that we would have a current school year, the one that just ended,
Yep.
or this contract year, that we would have a quote-unquote profit of about 17,000, from what I recall. When I
That's
was,
correct.
as I was reading this over.
Yep.
So the numbers came in subpar their expectations. What is to suggest that we aren't gonna be bouncing back and forth between providers year after year? And with all due respect, I'm not suggesting this is what happened. I'm a business owner, I understand some of these things. That companies aren't putting forth proposals to buy the business. In other words, reducing their costs for a period of time with the possibility that then they could ramp up their costs in subsequent years. That we would then have to cover if we stayed with the same company. Or would we actually go through this RFP every year? And the reason I'm asking is.
It's a fair question.
Excuse me, the reason I'm asking is, we all know we don't have a car dealer in town anymore, but every single year, we bought cars and trucks and other vehicles in the Mosinee School District in the 90s and the early 2000s at a cost that was about 17 to 20% higher than we were able to buy them out of Stevens Point. But we bought them from we bought them from Smith's Brothers because it made sense, because they were a local vendor, right? So I'm always concerned about these types of things that may appear glossy on the front end, but not give us the long-term satisfaction that we all had hoped Taher would have turned into.
I will answer not with dollars and cents, but with, this isn't an emergency contract like what we did last year. This is different. Michelle, can you explain the difference?
Last year's emergency contract, because we did not have time to put out a formal bid, because it takes several months. It was emergency contract. The maximum term is a year. It has to expire June 30th of the next year. So we had to go out to bid this time. This is a one-year contract with 4 optional one-year renewals. So if we are happy with the company, we can renew each year.
So we're not, so in other words, this is different. We're not
Yes.
forced to
That's
go to
correct.
RFP after year 1. We actually have 5 years if we choose,
That is correct.
is the way that the lead guy explains it.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
so this is different than last year's approach for systematic reasons, bureaucracy.
But can we go out to RFP any year should we choose?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And I
So,
have additional questions as well. So Michelle, you mentioned we scored. So do they give you a scoring rubric? Is this discretionary? What are the parameters to come up with
I
these?
set points, in consultation with, the DPI, you know, what do these different areas mean? You know, set these points, like I said, the cost has to be the highest number of points, so that had 18 points. They do give you a rubric, what are you looking for in these areas?
But is it very cut and dry, or is
It's
there?
quite cut and dry, and in looking at the proposals, they both, had, you know, most of them received maximum points or close to maximum on that.
With the exception of the financial.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
when I
comparable
looked
companies.
at both of them, the discrepancy was the six-figure discrepancy.
And when talking to Tahers about that, did they give an explanation for being negative? And if they would have gotten this bid again, do they foresee it going to the black?
You know, I had a conversation with this morning, and I've heard a lot of things, I just don't, yeah, I've heard different things about the costing. So I would rather Taher do, I mean, they would have to, I'd want them to make something like, this is why. Because I've heard several, I don't wanna speak for them, I've heard several different things from Taher. Because I've been pushing on this because I know the community was very happy with Taher. So, and Michelle is my witness to this, I questioned this for a month. I even emailed the DPI, I was like, what is our discretion here? And because I'm pretty new with the emergency thing, I understand, but the RFP and the fact that we don't really have a choice other than doing it on our own. So once I was clear about that, I started establishing the agenda the way that it's currently written. So I've heard several things, several different things about the why, and, you know, and Michelle?
Yeah, I spoke to, the woman from Taher at their corporate office, Judy Cameron, I believe her name is, that put it together, the costing. And she did not deny that that's what the cost was. She didn't try to say, oh, I missed this, I missed that. She just said, wow, in the past, you know, you could get some points for having a negative bid. So she thought that it had changed.
So they were shocked at how
They were surprised,
They
yes,
were.
they were.
And there's been some suggestion about some DPI, some changes at the DPI. I've heard that, I've heard several things, but this isn't my area of expertise, so I'm just logging what people are saying, not necessarily assigning truth to any of it. Taher is disappointed, I mean, they're disappointed. They have, I've heard several different reasons as to why.
Absolutely. And my question then is to the vendor, in terms of the food, so Taher's made everything from scratch. What is the type of food that the kids are gonna be getting with your company?
I won't argue your statement about what they've done, but that is our operating principle, is that we're a culinary company. The largest in the world on top of that, but we are a scratch cooking company.
Okay, so we're not going to be getting frozen patties and do the children that you service currently give you good reviews and like the products?
Yes.
Yeah, outstanding, especially in Wisconsin.
And do you also use any of the local farmers and their products as well?
Mhm.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Donna?
For clarification, is the cost of lunches and that going to rise also?
No,
I know we said that.
we said that.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I said. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Megan?
Could I ask, the big selling point for me when Taher came in is that they were going to have a fresh fruit and veggie bar at the end of every line. Is that something you guys also employ?
Standard practice in every
Yeah.
school.
Good.
Mhm.
Because it did not happen at ours, and I don't know where it fell, but I would like to see that at every school.
You know, I've called around to a few school districts that that, like Kimberly, for example, they run Kimberly, they run Manitowoc, I believe. That was a district that I taught in a long time ago, so I know Manitowoc pretty well. And they've got a really good rep, and they run a lot of UWs. You know, I know they run UW Superior, UW River Falls, I believe. The reason River Falls takes hours, my wife went to school there, so they, you know, they have a pretty large presence, not just in Wisconsin, but in the world.
Any other questions?
I just have one final question. So, I don't have the best memory, but I don't recall going through this previously in terms of government mandates and interference in this regard. So what's the change, if you know?
I don't know definitively, but the DPI has been very involved in my email chains with this.
Thank you for clarifying the DPI's mandating.
The DPI is directly, it's got a direct hand in this. Absolutely.
If I could comment too, when I did my internship as a business manager in Burlington School District back in 2008, 2009, there was this process as well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know as far as how much the DPI said, you know, did they change these things? But yes.
Some shifting rules. It was a very eye-opening experience for me to dig in on this a little bit. It's not something I had a lot of experience with, but the DPI is directly involved.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I
Motion carried with one no. Did you have things?
I only voted no because, I only voted yes because we were told we can't not do this.
Unless we
It
vote.
angers me. What?
Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna bring it back in-house, all
Right.
right?
Right.
So,
it has nothing to do with.
I'm totally in agreement with
Nothing personal.
Jessica's philosophy though.
Yeah.
Vote against this.
Item 10E, discussion and possible decision of approval of 23-24 employee handbook.
Yeah, I had Carla work through this and make sure that all the revisions and then are listed in the side panel. So you can see all the side, at least on the digital, but on the
Yeah.
paper it is as well, same way. You can make adjustments board meeting to board meeting if necessary, if there's changes.
I do have some.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that on the front, we do have permission to publicize those children's faces.
We can check, but I'm
Yes,
certain
I,
we do.
Carla said she did, she checked with,
Okay.
and made sure that they all signed off when they had their registration
Okay.
forms.
On page 14. Keep going. Page 14 of the actual, the document itself, which is,
Definitions.
Definitions.
yep. Next page.
Go on, yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
there,
right
okay,
there.
so it goes A, B, C, E, there's no D.
Okay.
Page 24.
Workers' comp. Benefits?
Health insurance. Okay, so see way over to the left there, the only's hanging out there, it should be indented over there. And if you scroll
yeah.
down, the 60% is also floating and needs to be moved.
Some of those, might be formatting issues, just because this is in Google Docs and I know her form is in Word.
Yeah, when you convert
So,
Word,
yeah, when it
yeah,
pulls it over, it might just come over that way.
same thing from Word to PDF.
But we'll look at it and make
Yeah.
sure.
Page 31, which is paid vacation.
Got it.
time off, it's time off and the paid vacation, so it's page, let's see.
Is it the Skyward time card procedures?
Paid vacation right there.
It was where we made right under the changes, okay. So see that first line where we change it, we go year round? Okay, go under anniversary date. See, it says year around, do we wanna change that to year round in that first sentence of anniversary date? See that, right there? And also, down on B, vacation with pay, same thing, are we making those changes as well? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just so you know, I did not read this word for word.
I
I
was
just
gonna
looked
say,
at,
I
I
think-
just looked at the formatting and the changes that were made.
I was
Like,
gonna say, I
didn't
think
put
in a
that
form
kind of
like
effort
you
into
were
it.
approved here.
Page 50, which talks about tier 3. Where it says those not eligible for tier 1 and 2. Oh, it's gonna be before that, isn't it? Oh, no, there.
Here's
It's
tier,
before,
district HRA,
it's be,
tier 1, tier 2, 45.
okay, nope, keep going. It's not in the chart, it's in print.
Page 50 and 49 and 50 is what I said.
I don't know what I'm looking for. What is it called?
I got a page, it's on page 50 or whatever it was printed out for us. Yeah, keep going. It's in reference to retirement. It's in the retirement section.
You want to pass it? Go back up. I thought it was right after
Before
the
that,
time off.
It's actually toward the end.
Is it? Another section?
It's one of the last 10 pages.
Yeah, it is.
It's right before teacher's salary schedule. A couple pages, 4 or 5 pages before the teacher's salary schedule. It's before that.
What?
You're close.
There.
Right above that.
Okay, right there, where it's tier 3.
Yeah.
So, okay, on mine, it looks like, so there was an extra E, is that what was being crossed out? I didn't know what that change was.
It's to match the key
Oh, see
benefit
what you're
concept
saying, yeah, right
changes.
there, yeah. Right.
I didn't understand what that was.
It's matching the key benefit concept changes.
But I think she's asking,
Why is that E there?
it's just an E that was, it must have
Just
been,
an extra
it must
E
have
there
been
then?
those not E space eligible. We'll see what
I didn't know what that was for, that was all, I just had a question. Okay, I'm done, anybody else?
Okay, I would need a motion then to approve.
I'll make a motion
Okay, we have a motion by Calandra, is there a second?
to approve with the changes as noted. Okay. I'll second.
Okay. Any other questions or corrections? Clarifications? Sure.
So in the salary for the,
What
support
page
staff
down?
and that, it's on page 38.
Okay.
Why is everything struck out? It's in red and.
Because they have a new salary schedule.
Oh, so this is not the new.
So the
new-
strikeout is the old salary schedule.
Okay, so.
And then the new salary schedule is sitting after it.
Oh.
The one the board approved a few months ago.
Okay, because
If the old salary
You might
schedule,
not have been here then.
No, I wasn't.
I just
She wasn't
asked,
here.
yeah, I just asked Carla to leave everything there and strike it out,
Okay.
so that you could see the old
Oh,
and
I like
also
that.
the new.
Oh, okay.
And the new isn't on paper, it's on the computer, correct?
Right.
Yeah, it's not on our paper.
It's on there.
I think it's there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's right. It's in
It's
that.
this right here.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Any other questions?
It's a lot easier to see on here.
Yeah.
That makes it look like it.
Yeah.
It's crossed
I can
out.
see,
Right, it
I can
does.
see on the paper
Yep.
version.
Okay,
Well,
gotcha.
no, the new table,
Okay.
there's so much red in it.
Yes,
It's really
I
hard
just
to tell
have-
that it's
mhm.
new.
No.
Or like on here,
Right.
it's clear as day.
Right,
Yeah, so- and I'm looking at the digital.
right,
I can
and that's
see
what
where,
I was,
I can
yeah,
see
I'm like,
where
yeah.
anybody with a hard copy struggles with it.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Item 11, other reports. 11A, WASB.
And that would be me. And what we have going on is the Summer Leadership Institute, and that is the Hyatt Regency in Green Bay. That is July 14th and 15th, Friday and Saturday. There are quite a few sessions both days, and if anybody's interested in it, let Amy know. I don't think I had anything else, right, Amy?
No.
No? So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Item 11B, CISA. Donna.
That would be me, and so far, I don't know, Amy and I talked today, and they don't have me on their roster yet.
She
so-
said that you'll get your first communication in July.
in July.
There you go.
Because everyone had till July 1st to submit their
Okay.
delegates.
So-
Okay.
So anyway, so what you got in your package?
So we do, yeah, we got a
What I got.
report, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Item 12, future agenda items. Is there anybody that would like to bring something back for July? Okay. Oh, and thank you, by the way, for people that reached out, Clanta reached out about the safety ad hoc, since Matt has
Okay, great. Yeah.
not on here any longer, she would like to go on, and Donna did as well. So I think it was Peter and
Megan?
Megan and Jess. So with that, Peter, did you still wanna read?
I hadn't been going much because it conflicted on my schedule, so I can step off. Because otherwise we have a quorum.
Yeah,
so,
I was just
yeah.
So then with that, it would be Jess, Megan, and then Calandra, cause then Donna said she'd be fine if that didn't work.
Okay.
You know, if somebody can't go, send me a text or message
Sure,
or something.
sure,
If we need
that's
somebody to fill in.
And then the only other one was the insurance, Matt was also on that.
You know, and that's one that I kind of handle my company church, so I can be part of that.
Do you want to? Okay.
I guess I commit to it. When
Yeah.
could it be flexible?
It's
or
usually
is it-
monthly, it is flexible, we're probably gonna move it to more of a quarterly meeting.
Yeah, I think for me, that would
With accelerated meetings as it comes
be
to
a
renewal.
resource in
That'd be great.
So they might have a fifth meeting when it comes to renewal time.
there. Okay, no, I think that would be a good one for me.
Okay, wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Any other? Okay. Item 13, movement into closed session. The board will go into closed executive session pursuant to sections 19.85, Pern 1, Pern G of the Wisconsin statutes for the purpose of discussing and